everybody, it's Lisa Fox with Coldwell Banker. And what is going on in the real estate market in Miami? That's what I want to talk about today, specifically looking at Coral Gables, Coconut Grove, South Miami, Pinecrest and Palmetto Bay. So if you're interested in what's been going on in the last 15 months and looking at specifically the first quarter of 2022, then follow along with me. These are some trend reports that I get. I subscribe to. All this data comes from the MLS, the realtors system. So all the closings. Basically, this shows you the trend in the last 15 months. Looking at the light green bars, those are amounts of active inventory, and the dark green are the actual amount of closed sales. The red line, these are the amount of properties going under contract. You know, it's been all over the news, basically, that there's not a lot of inventory, prices have been going up. So basically, that's been fueled by this lack of inventory coming back on the market as properties sell, the lack of people putting homes on the market, and also the amount of people that have been coming in from other areas to our area, like the Northeast, California, places out west. So that's been driving our market. Now I'm looking at the Gables and Grove combined. So you can see here, looking at single family homes only. For example, March 2021, we had 164 homes on the market, and this past month only 69. So that's a pretty drastic drop. Then looking at the months of inventory, supply, it's less than 1 month of supply of inventory on the market. So basically, if no other homes were to come on the market, everything would sell that we have right now. So everything that comes on the market is quickly being eaten by the market. And then looking at the average price for sale versus sold, the green represents the median average price of a home in the Gables combined, all the homes combined into the average. And looking at the average closed sale price, they've been in the upper $2 million range in the $2 million range in the last 6 months. However, I wanted to show you this other interesting graph that I have showing you Coral Gables. Most of the activity is happening in the $1 to $2 million range, even though that average price is higher. The most of the activities, that average price is being driven up by some multi-million-dollar luxury waterfront homes. But most of the activity is in this $1 to $1.5 million range in Coral Gables. There were 35 closing in the first quarter, 35 properties sold. That's the highest. But you see there's pretty good numbers above as well. 19 homes sold over $5 million in this area. Then looking at the Grove, again, the most of the activity was in the $1 to $1.5 million range, 19 homes sold. These lower numbers here in this $500,000 to $800,000 range, this is Coconut Grove 33133 zip code. So that's including some homes north of US 1, like Silver Bluff and areas like that. Okay, so moving along to South Miami. South Miami is a very interesting chart because I'm noticing a shift in the market in South Miami. There's a little bit more inventory and it's moving more into a neutral market. So I'm going to show you that. I think the prices are going to continue to rise in South Miami because people who can no longer afford to be in the Gables are filtering into other areas like South Miami, Palmetto Bay, Kendall. So this is what's happening. Another thing I wanted to point out is that I believe South Miami is more of a local market compared to Coral Gables and Coconut Grove, where they have a lot of people coming from out of town. Look at the first quarter of 2021, the difference between 2021 and 2022. First quarter 2021, you see this decline of the inventory because you see this huge increase of sales that we didn't have the prior year in 2020. 2020 was really a slowing, turning down market. Even before COVID, things had started to slow down a bit. We were seeing a flattening of prices. And so the difference between in 2021 was everything kind of ramped up. People who were stuck in their houses and not buying and not doing and not moving, all of a sudden everybody wanted to make a change, have a bigger home, work from home. So the market ramped up here, but look at the first quarter of this year, the opposite is happening. This market in South Miami shows a little bit of a slowdown in the amount of sales. Because of that, we're seeing more inventory because there's less sales. So it's appearing as more inventory coming on the market. Now, looking at this chart, City of South Miami, you'll see the majority of homes sold in the $700,000 to $900,000 range here, closed sales. But the most of the active listings are here. If you look in my screen, from 1 to 1.5 million, you'll see active and pending listings. So that as prices go up in South Miami, the market is adjusting. Maybe buyers who are coming from Coral Gables are going to start entering into South Miami because they can't afford Coral Gables or Coconut Grove anymore. Pinecrest is a pretty sturdy market. You have the similar trend. Here was a little bit of a flattening of inventory with a drop of sales in Pinecrest. This is largely due to the fact of the sudden rise of prices in Pinecrest. I'll show you. Here we were running about 4 months supply of inventory, 2 months supply of inventory now. But you'll see it went from March 2021, the average sold price was 1.9 million. And then the average sold price now over $3 million in the city of Pinecrest. So that, going to this chart, looking at the majority of closed sales in the first quarter were in this $1 to $1.5 million range. But you have all these other higher $500,000 increment ranges here. That's driving the average price up in Pinecrest. So I think that's pushing a lot of buyers out who would normally buy in Pinecrest, who want the school district, pushing people down to Palmetto Bay, which let's look at Palmetto Bay. So Palmetto Bay is right now an increasing market, very low months of supply of inventory for sale. It's only about 1 month supply of inventory on the market. 1.2 months of supply. That's a seller's market in Palmetto Bay. And so again, I believe that a lot of these buyers coming from Pinecrest who can no longer afford, they could still get in the Palmetto schools in Palmetto Bay. It's a great neighborhood, great schools. You'll see that the inventory, the amount of sales is superseding the inventory here. So this is definitely a hot seller's market, 1 month supply of inventory. So I expect, and I'm going to show you here, the average price. Back before COVID, the average single family home would go anywhere between $550,000 to $800,000 on average. And now that price is bumping up into that 900 over $1 million range. Looking at Palmetto Bay, you'll see the majority of the sales again are in this $1 to $1.5 million range, 12 closed sales in the first quarter of 2022 and 21 pending units. So it'll be interesting to see. We still have this closed sales in the lower range, smaller homes. So that's good because affordability is important for our area. These increasing prices are driving other areas of our market like Kendall and even West Kendall. I saw a realtor in my office send out a flyer about a 5-bedroom home on the lake on 157th Avenue for over $900,000. So as certain areas of our market increase, it's driving other areas of our market. So I'm really hoping that at least, you know, we can see in South Miami, gives me some glimmer of hope for inventory that we desperately need. Now, nothing lasts forever, as they say. So there's got to be a point where the slowing of sales starts to increase our inventory and sort of flatten out our prices. It's only a matter of time. Right now, we're in the spring, though, and spring is hot, and there's a lot of movement always in the spring. So I'm thinking that it's possible during the summer months that we might start to see a flattening, and interest rates are supposed to continue to rise towards the middle or end of the year. So if you're interested in making a move, now's a good time. And if you're interested in selling, definitely now is the time when there's low inventory. So reach out to me about that. If I didn't talk about your area, I can share the stats with you individually, and please give me a call or send me a message. Bye, everybody.